I guess I haven't even really been out of Wyoming that much, but I really like it.
That's Carmen Singleton back in 1991.
I went to Denver one time, and I smiled at this guy, and he almost freaked out. You know, you just say hi and smile around here at everyone you meet.
She was being interviewed in Hulett, Wyoming, the summer before she started her senior year.
It's pretty small, but the people are all nice.
Even today, Carmen's little town is believed to have about 300 to 400 people, depending on where you look.
In towns like Hulett, you're pretty much everything, you know. Everyone has to participate in everything to have anything, you know. So I'm like on the speech team, I'm in honor society, I'm in drama club.
In the late 1980s, Carmen was about to be a freshman at Hulett's only school that still has less than 200 students spread from kindergarten to 12th grade, all in the same building.
8th grade year, a paper was going around in my classroom.
The paper was a sign-up sheet for incoming 9th graders who'd want to play football.
They weren't going to have enough people to have a team the next year. And I said, I'll play, you know. I was just kidding at first. And then this kid in my class, I'm not going to mention any names, but he said, a girl can't play football. That's all it took. I signed up, and they'd hit me so hard that I could barely walk, you know.
On this episode of That Doesn't Happen Every Day, in which we interview everyday people about things that don't normally happen every day, we listen to Carmen Singleton tell her story of getting onto her high school's football team, and then went on being the only girl to stay on a football team at a Wyoming high school for all 4 years.
Pioneer
Memorial Park.
That's Mark Youngie making some notes before he interviews Carmen.
Pioneer Memorial Park in Hulett.
Hulett, Wyoming has 2 claims to fame. The first is that it's only about 10 miles up the road from Devil's Tower National Monument. In fact, the team Carmen was trying out for are still called the Red Devils. Its other claim to fame is that in 1977, Steven Spielberg used Devil's Tower and even some of the locals from Hulett for his film, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Mark Youngie actually recorded the interview in the public park in Hulett.
Right in downtown Hulett.
You'll hear some traffic noise sometimes, but what I love is that you hear the people in the town.
Hi! How are you doing?
Sometimes they're talking to each other in the street, and as the interview rolls, people passing by even interrupt the interview to say hi to Carmen, because it's a town where everybody knows everybody.
Fine, how are you?
I would love to live in Hulett. I would love to raise my family there, so don't get me wrong, but I was a little surprised that this friendly little town did have some pushback when 14-year-old Carmen Singleton wanted to do her bit for the Red Devils.
The school didn't want me to play football, and so we had to take it to the school board.
People like to stereotype Wyoming people and people in general from small towns or rural areas that we're all living in the past or against anything different or new. But before you buy that media-fueled image, please listen to this next part.
Who's we when you say we took it to the school board?
Me and the coach.
Oh, and the coach.
Yeah, he helped me out a lot.
What was your football coach like? Again, I know we're talking about stereotypes, but I've met more than a few who wouldn't have spoken up.
He's just the kind of person who would try anything, you know, and if you prove yourself, then he'll support you completely. They said that there wasn't anything that said that a girl couldn't play football, so.
Despite what the school board said, not everyone was on board, especially not right away.
I showed up for football practice, and of course I was late. So I had to walk up there, and everyone was staring at me. I was really scared.
When Carmen went out for football, she was only 5 foot 2 inches tall and only weighed 130 pounds, which wouldn't change much throughout her high school career.
Well, the first week, all we were in training, you know, running and stuff like that. And then the next week, we were in pads, and this was the first time, and it was terrible. They'd fight over who was going to be lined up against me to hit me hard, you know, and stuff like that. They were having bets on how long I could last. There were like $100 bets in some places. Some people would do anything to get their bets won, you know, and they'd hit me so hard that I could barely walk.
Can you remember any one incident where somebody really tried to hit you hard or did a dirty trick, played a dirty trick on you?
Well, yeah, there's quite a few of them. Just mainly rude comments is what they'd say, and, you know.
What would they say? I'm sure you're not going to be obscene about this, Carmen.
That's what they were, so I don't...
They were obscene?
They were really obscene. One of the captains of the football team and one of the biggest, you know, one of the most popular guys in the school, he stood up one day when people were teasing me and stuff, and I just ignore him, and walk away and stuff. And he stood up and he said that if anyone wanted to say anything else, they could talk to him. So that got me through a lot right there. One time, 2 people had hit against me, but this was always happening, at the same time. And I got up laughing. And that's one thing that everyone remembers is because it was 2 of the biggest guys on the team, and they both hit me at the same time, one from the front and one from the back. And I got up laughing, and that's just kind of what changed everything for them,
I've emailed back and forth with Carmen a little bit, and she confirmed that after the first few weeks, things with the majority of her teammates and the town got a lot better.
In one game, it was my first year, and there's this one guy, he was really, really big, and he kept on smearing me every time.
Remember the team captain who tried to help his new teammate?
He took that guy out of the game, but he said that was for you, Carmen, and I didn't know if it was that, but I was happy with that. There's some teams that are really nice, like there was this one guy last year, he was from Bighorn. When we were playing him, they came by and he said, "You're still at it, huh? I'm so proud of you." It was his senior year and he's gone now, but there's a few other ones that have always been really supportive.
Can you really get in with the boys now and feel like you're one of the boys?
Yeah. A guy off of the football team one day, he was sitting there putting down girls, and I got mad and he said, "I wasn't talking about you, Carmen."
I mean, do they talk jock talk with you?
Yeah, unfortunately. When they talk about last night's date and stuff like that, do I really want to hear this,
The girls in the high school, how do they feel about you?
They're completely behind me, too, and they say that they wish they had the guts to do something like I've done. I said you could if you wanted to, If you want something, just go for it, I don't think it's guts. They say it's guts and determination. I don't know. I think it's pride and stubbornness or something.
Do you have a boyfriend?
No, I don't. I have before, but never from Hulett. It's kind of awkward being on the football team and being such good friends with them. They come and tell me their problems about their latest girlfriends and stuff like that.
Did you ever hit anybody hard in football and get a real good hit?
Yeah.
Did you? How did it feel?
Felt great. Football has given me a lot of confidence in myself, and I think that's probably helped the most. I was at a concert one time. This one drunk jumped on my back. I turned around and I elbowed him, and then I punched him, and then this other guy got in on it, and he took over, so I just went further up and got away from him.
She's a unique child. I don't know. I think it's just her.
That's Carmen Singleton, Carmen's mom. Carmen's dad was out working in the oil fields on the day of the recording.
I'm behind her, for what she wants to do.
Florence's own parents were Mexican-American immigrants who left New Mexico for Wyoming to work on ranches.
She gets more upset or something like that at people putting down Mexicans than I do.
Does she deck them?
Yeah. One of her uncles said something and she heard him.
All my friends always say that I work too hard trying to save the world because I take up almost every cause that comes around.
Now, you've got a special honor coming up, right? Your senior year. What is it?
Well, I'm supposed to be captain of the football team because I'll be a senior. Seniors get that honor. And because I played all 4 years and some of the other seniors haven't. And because if I do, I'll be the first girl in the United States to be a captain of the high school football team.
Do you want to go on in football?
I don't think I could. I shouldn't even say that, but they outsized me by that time, and I'm not going to be able to grow anymore. I've tried lifting weights and running to get bigger, but I think the only way I could get bigger is fatter, and I don't want to do that.
Will you be glad it's all over?
No. I'll miss it. In some ways I will, kind of, but in most ways I'll miss it,
After serving as the captain of the football team, Carmen graduated the following spring and went on to get a degree in nursing from the University of Wyoming. She now lives in Hulett and helps people with their health care. I'd like to thank you for listening to this episode of That Doesn't Happen Every Day. Big shout out to Carmen Singleton, her mom Florence, Carmen's football coach Steve Norton, and the team captain, who is a personal hero of mine. I love that movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, so if you were in that movie or played a part in helping get it made, I would love to have you on the show. So please email me at thatdoesn'thappeneveryday, all one word, all lowercase, no apostrophe, @gmail.com. Another shout out to Mark Youngie, who recorded and conducted this interview. Mark has a book called The Wind is My Witness. It's linked in the description, and what he did is went all over the state recording oral histories with all kinds of people from different walks of life, just trying to learn more about them as people and how they make up a part of the state. A lot of the oral histories Mark did that are shared on this show were used to make that book, and I think you'd really enjoy it. If you would like to visit Hulett, Wyoming, it's a great place, very close to Devil's Tower. I hope that you'll go check it out. I've included some links about that in the description. If you've enjoyed this episode of the show, please do a search for That Doesn't Happen Every Day. Every day is 2 words in this case, wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can listen to every show I've ever done for free.